y'all, what's going on? It is Barb Meets World, and I'm here to discuss The Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 9, Episode 10, Love in the Fast Lane. Y'all, before we get into all that, you already know, got a couple things I need you to do for me, and that consists of first and foremost, liking the video. Liking the video helps me and my channel in terms of the algorithm, helps me attract new subscribers such as yourself. And if you are not a subscriber, not exactly sure what you're waiting on, but go on ahead, hit the subscription button and become a Barb's babe. I would love to have you. Also, upon conclusion of this premiere, why don't you drop down in that comment section and let me know what you guys thought of the episode as well as my commentary. And another thing, share me with all of your folks near and far. And last but certainly not least, make sure you hit the notification bell so you know every single time I make an upload. And let's get into it, okay? Y'all, so glad to be here discussing this episode with you all. As always, let me get my banner going. Where you at? Where you at? Boom. Okay, cool. But this episode definitely gave filler, and I'm not saying that in a negative way because, as I always say to you guys, not every episode can be a 10 out of 10. I get it. And it's not to say that the episode was bad. It's just to say that there may or may not have been any like jaw-dropping points. And that is okay. Nonetheless, we're going to talk about it anyway, y'all. Let's go. So this episode began with Gizelle and her daughters. They are at home and they're doing big things, honey. They are almost off to college. They just had a hard day's work and they ready to go off to college. Y'all, I gotta fix this lash. I don't know what is going on with this lash, but it has been pissing me off all day. Anyway, that's for me to figure out and not to bother you guys with. Nonetheless, they're doing big things out here, though. Gizelle also takes this time to explain to them how there are some issues surrounding their grandfather's assets, or like more specifically, like his will. Okay, so while he was nearing sunset, apparently there was somebody around him that after his brain surgery had him sign a new will. And the old will apparently got thrown out. The old will that consisted of certain things in there saying that Gizelle and her children would get, certain things and et cetera, et cetera. Sorry, the camera was like doing some weird stuff. Anyway, with that being said, though, I'm just like, girl, I get it. Trust me, I definitely get it. But what I will also say is that this is not odd because, unfortunately, y'all, if you've never dealt with this, I pray that continues to be your reality because people get weird, people get nasty, people come out the woodwork. Like just stuff gets really odd when you are, when unfortunately you're dealing with loss and stuff like that. People just get really weird. I remember my grandmother passed in 2020 and things just got really weird. So I do hope Gizelle gets that worked out. I want to know who this somebody is, though. I want to know exactly who this person is because, I assumed that her parents were still married, but I guess they were divorced. So maybe it was like his second wife, or I know Gizelle does mention that she had a sister. I don't know why I want to say she has a brother too. I'm just curious as to who, because she put it out there. I'm just curious as to who this person could have possibly been. Anyway, so she's going to work on trying to get that thrown out. And she's like, I know he doesn't want me to go through this and the whole nine. What else? He couldn't even hold a pen to sign it. So complete malarkey. Very fishy. And this has also prompted Gizelle to say that she doesn't want to be legally attached to anyone, ever again, because this is the potential outcome. I hate that she's basing it upon negative things, of course, but I do understand her reservations, especially in this case, because it's like, you just never know, like, how somebody can like try to switch up and pull the wool over your eyes. You just never know. She also speaks about how her and Jamal had a conversation recently about like the same subject pretty much. We know that he recently got married, and she just basically wanted to make sure that the kids was going to be straight. Everything was still going to be taken care of with them and stuff in their futures. And he says that he set up a trust for them that cannot be broken, you know, supersedes any prenups, any wills, anything like that. So they're good with that. I think that's smart. It's good to have those types of things set up. And I'm glad that they're still able to like have those types of conversations and communicate and be at least on the same page about that type of stuff. I mean, although like I used to just look at it like, okay, he down there, like you up there, like how does he really like help? And I mean, yeah, I guess still on the day-to-day, he wasn't there to do that. But it does look like he does still like make time for the girls. He does consider them. He does, you know, he's still very much like a father to them. So I guess that's cool. Over at Stacey's bachelorette pad, y'all, why is she up there with TJ? And not even just why is she with TJ, as much as like, y'all, he was whipping up it was like fake ass DiGiorno, first of all, I think. And he has, you know, those like quarter juices, or the like, you know, the juices they used to come in like almost like a knockoff Kool-Aid jammer type of vibe, or like the ones, you know, with the foil like seal, and like it's like a circular barrel shape, or you know, like all those little cheap ass juices and stuff that were just loaded up with sugar and food coloring. Yeah, why the fuck did he have that? Like, y'all, don't get me wrong, I'm never gonna be bougie enough to, you know, eat a slice of pizza from on the shop on the corner. I will always eat a deli sandwich. You know, you can bring me like a certain fast foods like Chick-fil-A, like we good with that, whatever. Certain things like I'm never gonna be too good for. This meal right here though, I am most certainly too good for. And Stacey, you are too. Like, get this man out of my face, playing in my face every week, because not only was he just chefing it up with that, why did he had on a silk bonnet while he was doing so, and it wasn't her bonnet. So I'm like, where did you get that bonnet from? Because she let us know that she didn't wear bonnets. Like, what is going on here? Anyway, he's still on this whole, she left him alone at the party, was talking to everybody else, and the whole thing. And we even see a flashback of him saying that, you know, you do you, I'm gonna go over here, whatever, as he walks off. So again, sir, what is the real issue here? This woman was at work. You knew what was up when you signed that waiver or whatever and agreed to be mic'd. I'm like, this is 2024. I'm pretty sure you know how this goes. Even if you haven't seen this show, whatever. Like, you want somebody give him a cherry blossom, because apparently, or a flute, whatever. Somebody give him one of those, because apparently he's just like, he's just so needy. And at the same time, you want everything, but you're not really giving anything. And by anything, I mean, I'm not even just talking about the D. Okay. I'm talking about just any type of like warmth is just completely missing when it comes to him. And like, Stacey, I'm looking at you crazy because you actually apologized to him for that. Girl, what? Just was so confused by that. Anyway, she also did she put salt on her pizza? I was so confused by that. They're just confusing sometimes. He asks her about mediation and whether or not she's going to hire a forensic accountant, and she says she has not. She has the awareness that her divorce should mostly just stay between her and her soon-to-be ex-husband, and TJ, you know, doesn't need to know everything. I do think that is very smart, especially because, again, y'all, this is just your quote-unquote best friend. Like, y'all haven't even been together like that for real. And, like, yeah, like, he just doesn't, like, for what? What does he need to know? He doesn't need to know everything about everything. Not at all. Because I'm pretty sure the stuff about him that you don't know. That's fine. Totally fine. She also talks about how the lady said that it's not a good idea for her to move on with him, romantically, being as though she is leaving a long 16-year marriage. And I do think that it was fair. I will give him that. I do think it's fair how he brought up the fact that, sex with people you don't care about, doesn't fix certain things. But I'm just like, who's talking about sex? Like, what are we talking about? Because there was a couple times in this conversation where I got confused because things that were said in the past didn't really align with what was being said in this conversation, for me at least. She asked him if he would continue this journey if she decided to start seeing other people. And he says that, he would still care about her, but he would also be seeing other people then too. Okay, I got that. Okay. But then he turns around and says that he's not sleeping with anybody else until, he's in a committed relationship, because sex was never casual for him. Okay, sex was never casual for you. I got it, whatever. But you've had sex before. You've never been married. Now you're talking about unless you're in a committed relationship. That also doesn't actually, she said that you're not trying to have sex until you get married, but committed relationship and married is not, that's not solely, a committed relationship does not solely mean marriage. So what are we saying here? Like, what exactly are we saying here? And I tried to see it from his eyes. I tried to kind of like, okay, well, maybe, y'all know, because we've talked about it here, but I'm just not understanding, Stacey. I'm not understanding. And I think you need to exit stage left and leave him where he's at and let him figure out, what he wants to do for him. Because it, again, as I said in the beginning of this scene, you're giving out a lot. He's requiring a lot, but not really giving you shit. But in my opinion, plain in your face, he's not that into you based on how he comes off every time. And I just, as I said on Blue Sky, y'all, Stacey, you're more than welcome to come back next season. I actually really hope you do come back, because I do like you outside of this. But don't bring his ass back with you. Not interested. Moving on. Wendy and her sister. Basically, this scene was all about her telling her mom that she has quit her job as a professor. She's with her sister Ivy, who I'm like, yes, can we get more of her sister? And I know her sister, isn't she like a surgeon doctor? Her sister got, a real big girl job for real herself. So I understand she's probably not always readily available to film and all that. But I do want to see more of her sister, because how we see the Laurens and Portias, and even like Sonia and her sister, and, et cetera, et cetera. I would like to see more of Miss Ivy. I really would. Anyway, so they are taking her mom out to lunch, and Wendy was like, look, and she spoke to this tune before. She was like, Nigerian children have 3 options: doctor, lawyer, or if you're feeling real adventurous, an engineer. So we already know that her mom places a big emphasis on what career path she decides to embark on ultimately. And do you guys feel like her mom is laying it on a bit thicker with this whole praise with all the praises and stuff like that, in order to combat all the negativity and stuff from last season? I don't know. I kind of think she is a little bit. Not saying that she does not love the Lord. I'm not saying that at all, but I think she is just kind of playing up a little bit more for the cameras because of everything from last season and stuff. I do. I'm sorry, but I do. Y'all let me know in the comments. Her sister was like, okay, can I exit the chat, because this is just too much. It's just too much. I laughed at that part. I definitely laughed at that part. So when she tells her mom that she resigned. Her mom at first was like, are you crazy? Like, what? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, what's the plan? And Wendy's like, she wants to focus more time on the kids. And in her confessional, she kind of expounds upon a little bit about that. If I remember correctly. What I will say is, though, Wendy, you do have a tendency to start things, and I'm not going to say you just completely abandon them, but I would like to see you circle the block on a couple of these business ventures and stuff like that. I do know she has a new teaching job or whatever, where she's going to be teaching a course about reality TV, I believe, which I think is cool, and I think that is more of what she's suited for at this point in her life. She has the reality TV experience, and she also has the educational experience. Obviously, she lets her mom know she still has her 4 degrees ultimately, and I think her mom finds solace in that. She finds solace in the fact that obviously they can't really talk about the show necessarily because that'll break the fourth wall, but she probably realizes like she is on the show and stuff like that. Happy Eddie's going, whatever, which is cool. And then she also has, she's also still gonna get probably her allowance. So ultimately in the end, she was cool with it. But again, I do want to see her kind of, really stick with something and like, kind of like bring it to beyond just like entry level or beyond just like a couple episodes or whatever. Are you working on a new book? Like, what's going on with the candles? Like, I just want to, I want to revisit some of these things. I definitely do. And not keep talking about your birthday. Anyway, she also had said that what did she she felt like she was being tolerated and not appreciated. I thought that was interesting to say, because she definitely was like, Professor Dr. Wendy, like she was like, all that in her beginning seasons, and to know that like it wasn't really all what it was cracked up to be for her at all times is just interesting to hear. I'm not saying she was lying or anything like that or putting on, but I didn't know that. Moving on, we see Ashley and Gizelle. Ashley's friend from the previous episode actually coordinated a speed dating event for her and Gizelle. Not really too much with this scene though, y'all. The first guy brought her this big ass bouquet of flowers, and I was like, that wouldn't, like, I'm not about to just, go ahead, slap a ring on his finger and you've completely sold me on that. No, I wouldn't say that, but those were some really nice flowers. That was nice. So Ashley was over there flirting her ass off, and Gizelle didn't really seem too amused until one milk dud perked up. And I don't mean to be shady when I say that, but because Gizelle actually talked about it in this scene that she does have a type, and we see was that Sherman and Jamal? She does have a type, and she also talks about how Jason wasn't that type, which only further solidifies the fact that they were not in a real relationship, in my opinion, last season. But there wasn't really too much with this scene. Ashley mainly hit it off, or she chose Josh, and I can't pronounce Giselle's dude's name, but for lack of knowing his name right now, I'll just continue to say milk dud guy. Moving on, Karen and Ray, they have a scene at home. She of course says that she was an emotional wreck the night of her accident, and it caused her to reflect on how she was so angry with Ray, and she questioned whether or not their marriage is gonna make it, and that's because he hasn't been so supportive of her yet again. But since the act, and that only intensified with the accident and everything, but now he has been supportive of her, and all the things really. And honestly, I mean, I don't really have much more to say about this than I would have said before. And Karen, you just need to be real with everybody, because you keep trying to bring in different people, and you keep trying to you're telling this story and trying to paint this picture of like all these contributing factors that cause you to possibly have made, and I say possibly because I ain't trying to have nobody come for me legally, but you know, that you allegedly, you know, did this or whatever. Like, girl, stop playing in our faces and stop trying to deflect. Stop trying to reduce your part in it ultimately, because you are responsible. Take accountability, stand in it. Y'all was y'all okay. And if that was the case, what about the first DUI? Like, I just, Karen, what are we doing here, man? What are we doing? What the are we doing for real? Because, and I say this because, like, she's really starting to piss me off with this, y'all. If you can't tell by my demeanor right now. And it's because I am a fan of the rundown. Y'all know. If you've been here before, y'all know that I really, you know, Karen's always been my favorite person on this cast, but it's stuff like this that I just can't support because she is, again, now we're bringing Ray into it. Like, what? Come on now, girl. And moving on. Then we get this, this is even more stuff that's going to piss me off. We get this scene between Mia and Kay, of all people, y'all. We get this scene between Mia and Kay, which is just, you know, wild, right? Because of what they've been through in the past and stuff like that in past episodes. So, y'all, what really threw me for a loop, though, right off the bat was when Kay sat down and instead of having on one of her, you know, cute little outfits or whatever, she had on, and I wish I had a picture of this, but Miss Mama had on one of his being Greg, his work shirts. And, you know, I'm just mainly bothered because your tagline was, I own a business, I mind my business, I stand on business. And instead of us having a day in the life of Kay, the entrepreneur, the CEO, the businesswoman, the professional, the beauty expert, whatever, you, Miss Mama, sit down and plop your ass in this chair with one of Greg's work shirts on. Did it say Made Mattress and Mule on the back of the shirt? Is my question. Shout outs to the diva, Erica De Niro TV. It must have said that, because why the fuck would you come on here and, like, why are you being a billboard and a worker for him when you have your own shit going on? We want to know about you and your stuff. And this is another person that seems to be pouring, and we see all this output from, and I haven't seen any input. I haven't seen him down there at your business freaking sterilizing syringes or, you know, whatever, or, you know, taking out the trash. I haven't seen any of that. So why the fuck? What? Get away from me with this, Kay. And I'm only going so hard because I really actually like her, and it's hard to defend you in moments like this. Also because it's hard because you haven't really been giving a lot, unfortunately. And I mean, I think I heard word on the curb is something big's going to happen around you maybe later in the season or something like that. But this is episode 10 now. And a lot of people are questioning why you got a full-time spot. And honestly, I'm kind of wondering that too now, because when we haven't really seen much from you. And when we do see you, you're repping his stuff when you got your own shit to talk about. That's what I want to know. Moving on. Well, no, I can't even move on because I have to talk about the Mia part of this. God damn. Anyway, so apparently Gordon is experiencing an episode, and instead of Mia going about it how you would normally go about it when you respect someone's, mental health, stuff, you are continuing to poke the bear. Like, so Mia decides to get Kay down here to talk to her because she's somebody in the field. That's enough. You're not in the field, Kay. Like, you should be talking about beauty treatments. Like, and that's not to say that you may have obviously learned some stuff by, muling down there with him. But in this case, you're not the expert on this. So why are you even like, well, what are we doing? This was just so weird to me. Like, so weird to me. So she's trying to use her work experience and stuff like that from work with him and stuff like that. And granted, like, she does give Mia some decent advice because honestly, I mean, Mia could stand to learn. She could learn something from a donkey. Like, she could learn, whatever here. So that's not really saying much, but nonetheless, Kay tells her, she does bring up a good point by saying that, well, did you ever think that Gordon could be possibly like triggered by you and ink and all that stuff? And then, that, causes the episode. Like, did we ever think about that? Dumbass. No, she didn't think about that. Mia even said that morning, Gordon had said to her that, does she think that they can get back together as long as they're just like not intimate or whatever? Like, would that be okay with ink? No, you should have shut that down right there. And he's only comfortable coming to you for this because what did Karen say last episode? You're running a fucking pimp village. I can't with her, man. And then Kay also want to verify that ink isn't the father. And on one hand, Mia says, like, no, she doesn't, or she doesn't think he's the father or whatever. They are going to get a paternity test. But then in the next sentence, she's like, Jeremiah and him, like, they do have a lot of similarities, though. So, like, what are you saying? And that's what it keeps being, is like word salad, word salad, word salad. Dysfunction, dysfunction, dysfunction. Fuck the kids, fuck the kids, fuck the kids. Like, what are we doing here, Mia? Kay is better than me. And then Kay also suggests that their living situation, they should probably split that up, which, yeah, they probably should. Cool. It might be good for the taking the kids here and there and having like built-in babysit, like whatever, however you want to put it. Like, I get it from that standpoint, but no, from the overall mental health standpoint, that's probably not conducive to the situation right now. But you're going to do what you want, like you've let us know in past episodes. So really, why am I up here wasting my breath? Honestly. Moving on, Ashley has a date with Josh from the speed dating. Don't really have much to say about that except for, shout outs to him for beating thyroid cancer. That's what put a pause on dating for him for a bit. I feel like Ashley was putting 20 on 10, but I mean, they did wind up like kissing in the end. So she likes it. I love it. Whatever. Moving on. Mia and her kids, they're going to bake some cookies. She invites Gordon down. And actually, let me not even say that. Before Gordon even came down, Jeremiah asked her, why her and Gordon are getting, why they're living in two different places. And she's like, well, remember I told you mommy and daddy are getting a divorce? And Jeremiah's like, well, I don't think you explained that to me like that. And it's just like, oh, is this what we're about to do, y'all? When I tell you I was floored on Sunday, at this point, I was through. Because you keep trying to put on like it's one way, and we keep getting reminded that it's not that way. And now you brought this man full force into your children's lives. They've caught you to bed with him, all these things. They don't even know what is going on between you and their dad. They don't know why he's living up there. It's clear that they don't really see it for Ink like that. And kids are not gonna, like, typically, I want to say, like, be outwardly disrespectful or anything like that. Like, hey, like, he brings them some toys or, you know, plays with them, whatever. Like, yeah, they'll get along or whatever. But ultimately, and they let us know it in this conversation, they want to see their mom and dad together. So what the fuck are you doing? Once again, Mia. But anyway, then we get this knock on the door, and that is again Gordon. And they continue that conversation. The kids are expressing their feelings. Jeremiah has mixed feelings. He wants them to be together. But then they kind of get into this, like, offshoot conversation. And I'm like, are we really, like, about to have this conversation in front of the kids? And because it indicates that y'all don't have your shit together, which is only creating more dysfunction in their lives. On top of the fact that you guys have moved 25 times in the last 3 years. Like, and now I really am starting to get concerned with, where is your older son at, Mia? Where is your older son? Do you guys think that's a 2 or a 3 bedroom apartment? It could be like a 3 bedroom, right? And then maybe the younger 2, and then he has his own room. And then I don't know, but there's just so much inconsistency and question marks around her. And I'm just, me and my homegirls are fed up with it, y'all. And Gordon's whole thing is, like, she wants a divorce. His whole thing is obviously, like, he can't force her to be, like, married to her or whatever. Like, so that's, you're not happy, you know, doing it or whatever, but that's just the boat they're in right now. And it's almost like she's, like, coaching him on the camera or something like that. And it's just like, this scene also told me that even her, like, fuck us, man, as viewers. Ultimately, you don't owe us shit. But when your kids can't even get the truth from you, that's a problem for me. That's wild to me. And another thing is, and it's not to say that she's a bad mom or a neglectful mom or anything like that, not saying that at all. So please do not take my words out of context here, y'all. When I say that she being Mia gives performative a little bit, performative mom, because it's like I don't know. It's like baking cookies and this and that. And she tries to come off as, like, this super, like, doting and, like, mom that's, like, you know, like, all these, you know, ways with her kids and all this stuff. And they have these conversations and they're this and they're that. And it's just like, I don't really think that she really, no, I don't really think that's even how she really is, honestly. Anyway, Juju begins to ask, where did they find each other? And because we know the circumstances surrounding how her and Gordon met and all that are, you know, not necessarily something that you would divulge to kids this young or whatever. They start to give her, you know, like, in Charlotte, but where were you? What type of, like, she's like asking questions as if somebody A, either told her already, or B, like, she's just, you know, stumbled upon this, found out this, came to this conclusion herself or something that she read independently, whatever. Because she's 7 and I forget how old Jeremiah is, probably 8 or 9, I guess. And it's just like, you want to talk about your safeguarding your kids and all this stuff and whatever. And that's what I mean, like, performative. No, because you're not. Like, you're definitely not. And it was indicated, we could see that in how they were coming off in the scene, like, completely setting your kids up for failure, if you ask me. And when the kids, like, are excuse themselves or whatever, or not even before they even excuse themselves, Juju she's like leaning into Gordon. And I don't know if you guys caught this, because I didn't catch it the first time I watched the episode, but she's like, you know, what if Mr. Ink actually marries mommy? And Gordon says, talk to her. And I'm like, okay, well, see, just Oh my God, emotionally damaging. Can be very emotionally damaging to kids, but just, I guess we're the only people that care about it, y'all. Anyway, and Juju's like, you can't marry Mr. Ink. Like, you get what you get, and you know, whatever she said. And again, that only shows you guys once again what I said before. These kids don't, they're letting you know exactly how they feel in this scene. For real, for real. And again, once we said arts and crafts always works. See, that performative, like you look like the type of mom who puts them in front of the, she gives like iPad mom, if that makes sense. And that's not to knock anybody who lets their kids watch the iPad or anything like that, but you do, you know, those parents and stuff that just be, okay, yeah, but just aren't really like they're down on the floor playing blocks and stuff with their kids for real. Like, yeah, she seems like that type of mom, or just do enough to, you know, anyway. And for him, Gordon's like, you know, we need to revisit this conversation again because it was disjointed, and Mia wants to act like she's preserving their innocence and all this stuff, but she's clearly not, based upon everything I just said. Would you guys really consider this preserving their innocence and, you know, all those things? I wouldn't. I wouldn't, y'all. I've never seen anything like this. I haven't. He wants to put a stop to the cycle. You also seen how she was like, when she brought up Kay, she was like, yeah, her fiance, boyfriend. And maybe that wasn't like ultimate shade, but that's only like, if I was Kay, I'd be like, see, bitch, I ain't trying to help you. I'm trying to, like, she's just an opportunist. Definitely an opportunist. And she wants to place these boundaries up and stuff. Ink thinks she needs to place these boundaries up and stuff. And I can't keep doing it with her. I really can't. It's gross. It's really gross. And I would love to know what you guys think of my commentary as well as the episode in the comment section below. Again, y'all, make sure you like the video. Made it short. You're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you're doing all the things. Follow me on all my socials. Shopping my jewelry in the comments, or shop my jewelry in the description box below. Make sure you hit that link. Use my code. All the things, y'all. And I'll catch you in the next one. Maybe it'll be more festive than this episode. Hopefully, right? Bye.